Hello, Space Marines! The 8.1 hotfix is now live on every platform. It fixes various crashes and connectivity issues, as well as a bug preventing the reward for completing 25 waves in Siege mode to unlock. Oh, wow, that's wild. Preventing the reward for completing 25 waves in Siege mode. There's a reward for 25 waves? Or is it like, kind of like their stacked rewards, basically, with, the credits and, all of that. Pretty much all the currency in the game. Is that what they're referring to? Because I'm pretty sure we don't get cosmetics for completing Wave 25, or at least like a set reward cosmetic for completing Wave 25. I'm pretty sure that's for Wave 15. But okay, yeah, let's... That's not even the point of this video. Fix several crashes, fix several issues causing disconnects. Well, that's good. Fix Siege mode rewards from Wave 25. Yeah, you guys mentioned that. Lots of small fixes to Siege mode map geometry. Interesting, that's going to be a hard one to point out. Fix bug that was causing random enemies to get stronger much faster in infinite waves, causing one-shot deaths randomly. No, enemies are still going to get stronger, but it will not be random and more consistent. All right, but okay, but hold on. Wait, I'm super confused by that, because it's like causing one-shot deaths randomly. It wasn't random. Their damage was heightened to the point that it would just hit you for that hard. Every enemy was doing that. I think it was enraged majors mostly were hitting very, very hard. So maybe that's what they're referring to here. But I mean, interesting. So should we not get one-shotted then? Is that what they're kind of getting at? Because I don't know. I guess one-shots are kind of crazy. But yeah, when you're in Wave 25, I mean, it kind of makes sense that enemies hit hard. So I guess I'm just a little bit confused on this one. Fixed a bug in Siege mode that occurred when a player would join a game in progress. The game will not apply difficulty modifiers correctly. Interesting. Not 100%. Yeah, see, I haven't ran into this. But okay, curious. Fixed a bug in UI that was causing inability to change color presets. Cool. Minor localization fixes. All right, so I know we're all happy to see a hotfix, and a hotfix for connection issues. 100% nice. Yeah, I mean, there were times where I would get disconnected in this game, but that was, now, obviously this is the 8.1 hotfix, and when it comes to disconnections, I was getting a lot of disconnections on launch, I believe. It was frustrating, and by a lot, I mean like 20%. That's much higher than normal when it comes to disconnections for me. Normally, it's like maybe one disconnection every 2 weeks or something. But yeah, with Siege mode, there was definitely games where, either I would disconnect or I would have a teammate disconnect. I think I seen one yesterday, which was, it's still higher. If it happens once every day, that's still too high. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that devs are, patching disconnections. And yeah, obviously that's something that needs to be, addressed, and hopefully it still continues to be improved. I will admit, yesterday, as far as disconnections, after the 8.1 patch, it definitely felt a little bit better. I do think there was maybe one moment on console where I started to see red bars randomly, and it almost dropped me, but it didn't. Normally, it would have just dropped me, I think. But yeah, dude, honestly, I do not know what's going on with the performance with Siege mode. Sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's bad. I think it genuinely depends on the host and your connection to the host, because yeah, if your connection to the host is, not good, if it's, shoddy and not consistent, I can definitely see you dropping that game, getting disconnected. But now, hopefully, this doesn't happen as often. However, I wish this 8.1 hotfix was all good news. This did miss a pretty bad bug right now in Siege mode. I ran into this bug 2, maybe 3 times yesterday, but it definitely killed some runs, which is unfortunate because I had a really good, hard Siege mode run with the Assault class yesterday. Get absolutely bricked. Okay, maybe bricked isn't the right word, because that's it died. The bug died, or the bug killed the run, because what happens is, for whatever reason, even if you clear out the entire map of enemies, for whatever reason, the bug still thinks there's an enemy around and you are not able to complete waves. This is a game-breaking bug that this hotfix missed. Now, I will admit, when it comes to disconnections, I do believe I ran into more disconnections, whether it was myself or my teammate, than running into this game-breaking bug. However, disconnections, I mean, they're pretty bad as well, to be honest. Like both those runs are either being killed by a game-breaking bug or a disconnect. However, yeah, obviously, if you consider both of these issues, Siege mode has definitely been a bit of a pain to get consistent runs in. I am definitely, when I'm playing Siege mode and I'm on wave 10, I'm definitely keeping an eye for connections, and I'm keeping an eye for bugs and everything. But luckily, I feel like at least the incompletable wave bug, the uncompletable wave, the you can't complete this wave bug. Luckily with that, you can kind of see if it's going to happen or not, because what happens at the end of the wave is you'll see, the enemies that are around, they will be highlighted. If you're going to get the bug that will stop your, wave from progressing, none of the enemies that are left will be highlighted, because there aren't any enemies there to highlight, and the wave itself is bricked essentially. But yeah, we're gonna go into a post and we're gonna read someone's experience with that bug as well. Stuck on siege mode because of remaining enemies. Apparently these enemies are not dead. Emptied couple of mags into them, sliced them in half, would not progress within 10 minutes. Pretty annoying. I'm glad they went into detail of how they took out the enemies. But yeah, I mean, for me, I had bugs where I didn't see the highlights, but I've also seen this bug as well. This happened to me in the first 5 waves. And yeah, this can kill your run, because what happens is the waves don't progress. Now, this is definitely a bug that is in need of a hotfix. This is definitely a bug that should have been hotfixed in 8.1. However, this is a bug that came out after the maintenance. So I am not very, I'm not very surprised that the devs missed this one. This one's definitely a pain. I would admit, this and disconnections can definitely hamper the enjoyment of siege mode. Ultimately, I'm very glad I'm having a lot of fun, because whenever these bugs happen or a disconnect happens, I kind of just, toughen up and go for another one. Luckily, I did that yesterday. What happened yesterday was I would go into a siege mode. This specific bug would happen where, like, enemies are not allowing you to progress because the game can't really recognize if they're dead or not for whatever reason. But yeah, I've had this happen a few times yesterday, which was unfortunate. And luckily, one of my last runs, I said, you know what? I am going to play this game until this bug doesn't happen. And luckily, it didn't happen. I was able to get a couple runs in yesterday, which is great. I've heard some people say this happens because guardsmen take out enemies, and for whatever reason, the game just doesn't recognize that. I can pretty much confirm that that's not the case, because I saw 3 guardsmen take out a Rubric Marine, and nothing happened. No bugs happened. So I'm not too sure. Maybe these enemies, for me, at least this room specifically, is where I see this bug mostly. So I think what either is happening is either some of the pre-spawned enemies are, for whatever reason, being counted within the first wave here. I don't know. Honestly, maybe it could even be the guardsman reason. But yeah, this is why we go into the comments to see how people experience this. Also, I'm going to need help from you guys in the comments to see if you experienced this. I can almost 70% guarantee, by the way. I have a strong feeling a handful of you guys experienced this bug, because this is one of the only bugs that I ran into consecutively, like, ever in this game, when it comes to disconnections, when it comes to, like, game-breaking bugs, whatever, not including the Spore Mine Apocalypse, because obviously that just continues to happen, and the parry bug, I guess. But, whenever it comes to, like, disconnections or something that, like, kills your run, that never really happens to me. But now, after maintenance, this bug specifically happened to me like 3 or 2 times yesterday, which is way too high. Dude, siege mode takes a long time to complete. If there's a chance in wave 6? Yeah, honestly, it did mostly happen to me in wave 6. If there's a chance in wave 6, wave 7, wave 8, whatever, that your run can just die, that's very frustrating. Yeah, again, giant time commitment in siege mode. Honestly, waves 1 through 5 go by pretty fast, so wave 6 is kind of like on the border of, completely game breaking. If I see a bug in wave 6, it's definitely something I can follow up where I'm like, I still have energy. I can do waves 1 through 15. But yet, I mean, it definitely makes me a little bit concerned with the state of siege mode if the devs kind of miss a bug that's this, game breaking. But again, I'm not too sure if the devs were on this, because this was a bug that was introduced after maintenance. So yeah, I'm not too sure if the devs are on it, but this is why we're making this video, and this is why, yeah, I'm definitely pointing out that this is one of the most egregious and terrible bugs I have seen outside of disconnections, because effectively disconnections could be just as bad as this, you know. Same, this just happened to me with Hormagants as well. It seems like the program that manages the enemy counter might not be registering some of the Hormagant link deaths caused by killing a major enemy. What heresy is this? Okay, I can confirm that this bug has only happened to me against Tyranids. It's legit only happened to me within Tyranid waves. I think the first time it happened to me was like wave 3, which was a Tyranid wave. The second time it happened to me was wave 6, Tyranid wave, and then the third time, wave 6, Tyranid wave. So I guess this could be an explanation for the bug. This probably is on the right track. I just can't guarantee what is causing this bug. Like, to be completely honest, it's crazy because, I mean, it's not like every Tyranid wave is bugged also. You know what I mean? Like, I was able to complete waves after experiencing this bug on a different run against Tyranids. So I'm not too sure what's happening here. Hopefully it's nothing that's like hard to fix. I would really hope the devs can get to this as soon as possible. We just saw a hotfix for disconnection issues. Hopefully that kind of helps people out. But, you know, overall, when it comes to, you know, the state of the game right now, the game's really fun. There's a lot of stuff to do. I'm having a great time with it. I'm having a great time with siege mode. But these technical issues are getting a little bit out of control. Like, the devs seriously need to understand that every patch that we have seen, there's needed to be like an emergency hotfix or something, and I guess the hotfix for the siege mode patch was connection issues, which is okay, that's fine. It's just a little bit frustrating because they said they continuously work on connection issues, and then when, you know, bugs pop up because of that, it's like it's like, what, like, this is kind of like an unfortunate moment for devs, but at the same time, it's really hard to continuously have, you know, it's really hard to continuously kind of brush this stuff off when all I want to do is play siege mode, and I'm having a hard time finishing waves because of, you know, weird bugs that are happening. And it's like, even within the PTS, it's like none of this stuff was really that apparent in the PTS. It really wasn't. And it was actually kind of hard to, you know, play with other players with siege mode PTS because I wasn't matching with any. Because, I don't know, there wasn't enough people playing or something. Or, honestly, a lot of the times when I'm playing, it's pretty weird hours. So, I don't blame, you know, people in my area for not playing at 7 a.m. So, but yeah, ultimately, it's getting pretty frustrating seeing these technical issues. But yeah, this is a good guess. But still, it's just, yeah, again, guys, it's just frustrating seeing these bugs over and over again, and it's always something that is, like, game-changing. It's never a bug where it's like, oh, man, my red armor's blue. It's always like, hey, parries don't work. It's like, oh, great. Hey, you might brick runs because the game can't recognize what enemies are getting taken out. Like, it is frustrating. Now, again, I try to, like, keep it reasonable when it comes to, like, dev criticism. But I feel like this is one of the moments where it's like, why are you guys dropping the ball on this? Like, I don't want to see a single, like, I don't want to see the devs talk about overpowered bulwarks. I don't want to see the devs, you know, give us weird, like, assault prestige perks that aren't really useful. Well, to be honest, actually, I'm starting to enjoy the iframes on the ground slam charge. That's actually pretty good. But yeah, you see my point? Sometimes some of this stuff just comes up a little short, and then basically the excuse is, well, they're working on, you know, connection issues and stuff. But then when you come up short with the connection issues also, it starts to feel like the devs aren't listening to feedback very well, to be completely honest, because I feel like a lot of the stuff when it comes to balance, if they just kind of, you know, gave the people who are complaining about the balance a little bit more good faith, I think the devs would understand, wow, a 3-minute banner for invigorating icon might not be overpowered. You know what I mean? So maybe focus less on, you know, seeing what perks are overpowered in a mode that can one-shot you, and maybe focus more on the connection issues and the technical side of things. And I don't know, maybe some of these hotfixes are coming out a little rush. Maybe some of these maintenance patches or whatever's going on with maintenance, I swear, it's just, whenever we see maintenance, it's like you have to hold your breath for something not to be broken. And I don't know, look, I get it. I get it. Connection issues when you are connecting to, like, you know, overseas crossplay, it's probably really hard to deal with. I don't know. The devs are better at me at making games, so I can't really say much. But as a player who has defended the devs in the past, as far as like cosmetics and simple stuff that people might be over criticizing them for, when it comes to things that they should be rightfully criticized with, it's just more disappointing. You know what I mean? It's just it can be a little bit deflating. It can be deflating because I'm having a great time in siege mode, but what's unfortunate is now I gotta look over my back for if waves can be completed or not. So guys, if you wanted me to, like, you know, curse out the devs, that's not gonna happen. But I will say I'm heavily disappointed and with the technical side of siege mode, as far as like connection issues, you know, bugs and all that. As far as the gameplay and the mode itself, it's great. I'm having a great time. But as far as the technical side of things, maybe you guys need to spend maybe 1 or 2 hours playing this game online to see what's going on before you do like maintenance or whatever. I don't know. But if there's a playtest moment that you guys can try out, I'm pretty sure there has to be some devs playing the PTS as well. Like, none of this stuff really popped up in the PTS. So I do understand that point of things. But like, what happens during maintenance where the waves start just not counting dead enemies? You know what I mean? That's weird. There's definitely something, I think, obviously something came from either the hotfix or maintenance to affect this, but yeah, I don't know. I can ramble on about it all day. It was pretty frustrating, but I did make it through getting some videos done, which is great, and ultimately, you know, we're gonna see what the devs have in store for us for another hotfix. But yeah, as far as like what information we have with this bug, it's truly not a lot. So I don't know, man. I do see a lot of people saying this bug has happened to them, you know, after maintenance. So at least it's being reported that there's a handful of people who are experiencing this. There's probably a handful of people who are watching this video that have experienced this as well. So overall, just let me know in the comments if you have seen the dead wave bug, and yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about it. Thanks for watching.